What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're going to be checking out some paracord and paracord accessories from Atwood Rope Manufacturing. This all came about because I was looking to do some paracord handle wrap similar to what you see on the table on some of my unwrapped tools. I also just want to learn a few new knots where I can do some fun paracord projects similar to this pair of nunchucks that we made out of 2 County Com Kubatons. And so I was looking for a tool to just help keep everything organized. It had a few other features I was looking for, and the Ready Rope Elite by Atwood Rope Manufacturing ended up checking all the boxes. Not only that, they were willing to send over a sample for me to check out. They even sent over this Parapocalypse survival cord Lite, which isn't something I was looking for, but has some really cool features we'll talk about later in the video as well. And so not only did they send over the samples, they also set up a coupon code Uncommon EDC, all one word, that'll save you 10% if you're looking to pick up any of these, and I'll make sure to leave a link and that code down in the description of the video. So this Ready Rope Elite is a spooling tool first and foremost, which is exactly what I was looking for, and it's available with or without paracord. So the one they sent over had 50 feet of 550 paracord. You get to choose the color if you go that route. $16.99 for this version before that discount, and this is the ground war color if you're looking for this specific color, but they offer it in, again, 9 different colors. Now you can also get it raw with no paracord wrapped around it for $9.99, so super affordable tool. And that way, if you already have the paracord, you can just wrap it around and use your existing stash of paracord. So I'll probably pick up 2 or 3 more of these to add the paracord that I already have, but a really nice option if you don't already have it to just order everything together. And so this is their standard 550 paracord, 7 nylon strands, 550 test, and so exactly kind of what you'd expect from paracord. They do have a Parapocalypse non-light version that's 625 pound test that's going to be pretty similar to this. It's a little bit stiffer, and in addition to the 7 internal nylon strands, you also get 4 additional strands that are the strands you see in the Parapocalypse Lite. And so I'll show you what those strands are, but if you wanted to wrap it in that, you could order that separately, order a raw version of this and wrap that around here as well. And so $10 or $17, again, that's pre-discount. And so the features I was looking for was obviously the ability to spool paracord around it. And this one fits about 50 feet. You can go larger, but obviously it's going to bulge out over the edges, but you can definitely do 75, 100 feet if you wanted to and don't mind the extra bulk. But I also wanted the ability to cut that paracord right in the tool. And so this one has a gate at the top, and when you open that, it exposes a number 11 hobby blade. And that's just your standard number 11 hobby blade, so you can pop off the face here by pushing through the back and replace it with a hobby blade that you can find at the store, again, number 11. And you just thread the paracord through there, cut right through, and really sharp, obviously. Perfect for cutting it. And I like that it has a gate. That wasn't necessarily something I was looking for, but it keeps you from accidentally threading the paracord through there too early and cutting it before you want to. Also just keeps gunk from accumulating in there or other things from sliding in and getting cut on that. So really like that feature as well, although it wasn't something I was necessarily looking for. Now the last feature I was really looking for was the ability to carry a lighter. And so this one has a tube in the center and then this sort of garage door at the bottom that you can open up, and it holds a full-size Bic. You can obviously put a mini Bic in there as well. The Reach Bics do not fit in there, but full-size Bic will fit in there. There's also a little bit of extra real estate both on the sides and the bottom, so if you're using other brands of lighters, most likely they'll fit in there if they're pretty similar in size to the full-size Bic. If you don't want to carry a lighter, you can use this as a little survival stash and make a mini survival kit to fit in that tube. You can see Atwood Rope Manufacturing on the door there. But really nice that it has that ability to carry a lighter, because once you finish cutting it, you want to sear those ends so it doesn't all fray. You don't have the internal strands pulling out and things like that. So you just kind of melt the end, pinch it off, and you have an all-in-one kit here that has everything you need. Now it also has a couple features that I wasn't really thinking about, and one of them is this catch over here. So usually with something like this, including some that I found on Amazon, they don't have anything to grab onto it like that, so you can just put the paracord in there, it holds it in place, and so you end up having to stuff the ends in the middle so it doesn't unravel on you. And then when you're ready to use it, you go searching for that end strand that's tucked somewhere in the middle, and it's easy for it to get lost. So this is a really nice feature that I wasn't necessarily shopping for, but I'm really glad it's there. The other kind of minor feature that I wouldn't have thought of is this opening right here that allows you to clip a carabiner to it. So if you just want to clip like a carabiner on there, clip it to the outside of your bag or something like that, you can have this just hanging. And so a lot of them don't have that feature available either. And so really like those extra features. And the other really good thing about this is that they're made in the USA, so very affordable portable for a USA made product, USA made paracord, and the Ready Rope Elite. So really cool tool, available for either, again, $10 without the paracord or $17 with the paracord. Now, the other item they sent over was this Parapocalypse Lite, and you can see this is similar to paracord. It's a little bit slimmer, but it's also a little bit less tensile strength, so 200-pound test weight on this one, which is still a ton. It's a little bit more kind of stiff and sturdy, so I would imagine the Parapocalypse full-size version, that's 625-pound test, more similar to the 550 paracord, is also going to be a little bit thicker and more sturdy, so might make a good like bootlace or something like that. And the reason for that extra stiffness is the internal line. So I burned this one off so you can't really see it, but I did cut off a length so that we can take a look at those internal lines. This is 50 feet, which is $14.99. I think if you get 25 feet of the non-light version, just a Parapocalypse survival cord, that one is, I want to say, $8.99. And so if you're looking for that one, you can get it in shorter lengths. You can also get it in longer lengths, and obviously they'll be a little bit more than this smaller version. But we can see on the packaging what those internal lines are. You have the wax jute, the Kevlar, the fishing line, and then fire starter, which is actually the wax jute. With the other strand is Dynax. And so I pulled the strands out of there so we can take a look at each of them. Hopefully this shows up decently on camera because these are very thin. This is the wax jute. This is obviously to be used as a fire starter, so you can kind of unwind this thread and fluff it out a little bit so it can catch a spark. And this does a really good job of catching that spark and burns really, really well. And it's noticeable right when you try to sear the end of this, it actually lights up instead of just kind of melting like regular paracord. That does light up and it'll stay lit until you blow it out or it gets too deep into there. And so it does a really, really good job of just keeping a fire going and catching that spark. And again, you want to fluff it out a little bit if you're throwing sparks at it. Now, the next line we have is the Kevlar cord. And so Kevlar is not only really strong, but it's also super heat resistant. I think they say something like 800 degrees. And so if you want to wrap your food around it and put it on a spit over the fire, you can do that. Obviously, don't put it directly in the flame, but if it's above the flame, it's not going to melt. It can hold everything up there, and you can use it over the fire without worrying about that melting into the food or burning off and dropping your food into the fire. The third line is fishing line, and this is pretty self-explanatory. I don't know how heavy this fishing line is tested for. I'm sure it's listed on the website, so I'll try and leave that information in the description, but obviously only one main use for fishing line. I'm sure you can figure out some other uses for it as well. But the last one is that Dynax. And so Dynax is another super strong material similar to Kevlar cord. I don't think it's quite as heat resistant, but it also is super low stretch. So you can use this for like snares or dental floss and things like that, and it's not going to break on you. So if you make an animal snare out of this, you will be able to snag them without worrying about that breaking off and just losing them and maybe injuring them for no reason because they end up escaping. And so you have all of these different strands inside of here, and then even when you're not using it, you have this nice sturdy rope that you can use to string things up. This is actually perfect for lanyards as well, because some of those knives have super thin or slim lanyard holes. They can't fit 550 paracord, so if you're looking for something just a little bit slimmer, this is a decent bit slimmer, and of course also made in the USA, just like everything that they sell. They actually have a ton of different products, so I may end up checking out some more of them in the future. If you have suggestions, definitely leave them down in the comments below. But was really happy to find these. Also, again, great that they gave that coupon code so you can save that additional 10% if you're looking for something like this. But that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, or checking out some other content. And as always, hope you have a great one. Take care.